Welcome back. In this demonstration, we're going to be starting working on a still life. But before we do that, we're going to talk about line. Today, our main goal is to learn about line, which you can use, vertical, horizontal, diagonal, curvy. You guys know all about lines. But we're going to use more specifically the contour line, which is, number one, the outline around an object, or the lines that can show the form or three-dimensional shape of an object. So the first thing you're going to do is get a 60-pound piece of paper and write your name on it. Write your name. I'm going to write Mr. Lundgren. Then I'm going to write my grade and my homeroom teacher. Okay. You should be using one of our black sketching pencils. Okay, and we'll make sure that they're nice and sharp. And you should also be using either a soap eraser or a magic rubber eraser. Don't use the pink erasers that we would usually use in the classroom. Then we're going to flip our paper over so it's nice and clean. And then we're going to set up a still life. Each table will have a still life. And please excuse me while I kind of rearrange my camera and my lighting here. Here is my still life that I will be looking at as I do our drawing. You have to make sure that as you work with your still life, you are able to move the pieces around and then also help remember where they are. You're also going to make sure that your light source is on one side and it's directed towards the objects. Make your still life simple. Spread your objects out so that you can see the objects clearly. You're going to have one big cone, two little wooden objects, and one origami that I have you choose from. Okay, and spread them out, and then of course set it at the end of your table so that everyone can see it. And we're going to talk about how to make the contour lines first, and then talk about the shadows. So I also have, coming back to my drawing, I also have this photographed onto an iPad so we can kind of refer to it as we go through, and I can maybe make some lines on here to show you what part I'm working on. All right. So to get started, you're going to use your pencil and you're going to use it to measure like we've shown you in class. How you hold up your pencil and use your index finger to hold at the bottom and kind of measure your object. So if I'm measuring my objects, I'm going to start by making the contour line for my cone. The cone kind of starts here, curves down a little bit like this, one curved line, right? Then the next part of the curve comes up like this, and I know by measuring and holding my pencil straight that the top of the cone should be about here. Okay, so I want these diagonal lines to kind of go right up to the top like this, and right up to the top like this. Now from where I'm standing, I see that the top of my cone is really a curve that I can actually see the back of. Now this is just the contour line, right? We haven't thought about shading, we haven't thought about which parts are light and dark, we just want the shape of the three-dimensional object. Then moving on, the little origami thing here behind here, which is a origami turkey, kind of comes on a diagonal line, and I can hold my pencil up to the still life out there and then kind of hold it down here and say, yep, that's about the right angle. Then the other angle kind of comes up this way, and I know from holding my pencil up that the angle for the neck of the origami goes here, and that the back of it comes this way and is behind that cone. I can't see it. And then the tail comes up this way, and actually since the paper's been bent, it like curves around, which isn't necessarily good, but that's how it is. I can hold up my pencil to the neck, and it's actually behind part of that cube, and it starts about here and goes this direction. Okay, then this line's a little bit longer. I have the head. It goes this direction, goes this direction. There's an upside down V. There's a straight line out this way, a line down this way, a line up that way. This line comes down here, and in the back, this other line comes up this way, and then another line comes down like that. and there's like a little line on the paper this way, and a little line on the paper that way. Okay, now I've got that main, oh, and I almost forgot this one that's hiding underneath the cube. So I've got that main duck origami shape in using the contour lines. They're all straight because of the paper is straight, whereas these ones were kind of curved, right? Then I'm going to put in, and if we can see this, here's my iPad. Kind of hard to see, but here's the origami, duck there, or turkey, sorry, and you kind of see those lines. All right. Then I'm going to move on to that sphere and the cube. The sphere and the cube kind of starts here, and the point of it starts this way and angles, angles down. If I hold my pencil up, I can say, yep, that's right. And then this line comes straight down about that far, and the other angle comes this way, and then the edge of the cube is like that. It's like a parallelogram. Now I do have these parts overlap, so I'm just going to erase those and make sure I get rid of the pieces that don't necessarily belong. Then the front of my cube is also on an angle. I can hold my pencil up here as I'm looking out at my cube and say, okay, the angle's about like that. And this angle I know is exactly the same because it's a perfect cube. And this line comes straight down because I know it's a perfect cube. And this line should match this line. And this line here would match this line. Now, I have that completely finished. And the circle for the sphere almost touches the nose, comes down this way, sitting on top like that. Now that's a really horrible sphere. Let me do that again. So as you learn and as you work on this, you're going to see that your drawings do need modification. That's just fine. That's what erasers are for. Okay, there's my sphere. Just angle this down a little bit more this way. I'm actually going to push this corner out just a bit. Kind of rework it there so it looks proper. Okay, now I've got those main objects in. All right, now we're just going to do a little bit of drawing in the background. We're going to put in the little swoop of cloth in the background there. I'm going to put in the shadowy swoop of cloth this way. And we're going to put in a little cloth here that goes down. So we've got at least something that shows us we've got something in the back. Okay? So that's kind of our basic contour drawing. That's what we're looking for today. If we get that done, we'll move on to the next step and we'll talk about the cross hatching and shading. Okay? And that's how you finish the contour line. Just to give one more version of the still life, I'm just going to tip my camera, show you the still life here. That's what I've been drawing from. And coming back to my drawing here. Okay? And that concludes how to create a drawing using contour line.